Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. As we celebrate Women's Day, we must be reminded of what the Quran encourages of the rights of women. Indeed, the Quran exhorts men to respect and to honor women. The Quran states in chapter 4, which is the chapter of women, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, and verily for women is similar to what is upon them in terms of rights. Because a lot of people think that women are beneath men, women are below men, and women must serve men, and women are meant to run and do the bidding of men. Well, the Quran does not agree with that. The Quran in fact tells us that the rights that men have are in fact similar to the rights of that of women. وَلِلرِّجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةٌ, and for men there is a step above in terms of responsibility, in terms of authority. This does not mean that men must use this authority against women, but rather the Quran in fact guides us as to how to use this authority. The Quran tells us in another verse, الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ, men are the guardians and protectors upon women. So the way you should use this authority that a man has is not to the detriment or to the harm of a woman, but rather to her own elevation, to protection, and to guard their rights. It is unfortunate that South Africa ranks as one of the highest in terms of female abuse and domestic abuse. This is very, very shameful, very regrettable, and something that men should stand up, and it's a responsibility of men to stand up as a whole to ensure that this stops, that women's rights should be protected, and that women should not be harmed and should not be afraid and intimidated by men. So it is important that Muslims encourage and exhort people throughout the world and throughout society to speak their voices, and women's voices need to be heard in terms of what and how their rights are being violated. The Bible also, unfortunately, is not free and is not innocent when it comes to the rights of women. We find that Paul in the Bible actually blames women for being for speaking loud in the church, saying that they should not even talk in the church and their voices should not be heard. So the Bible has also played a negative role in terms of the rights of women. Paul in fact tells us in Corinthians 11:5 that a woman should wear a head covering because she is the authority, she is under the authority of man, and man did not come from woman but woman from men, and therefore a man should not cover his hair but a woman should cover hers as a symbol of a man's authority over her. This is unfortunate that people should not accept such wrong teachings, but rather should in fact be able to stand up for the truth, as the Quran tells us, قُومُوا لِلَّهِ شُهَدَاءَ بِالْقِسْطِ, stand up for justice and for truth, and that is that the rights of women should be respected, and that women are not some man's property, or that they have to wear something on their head because they belong to a man. This is completely ludicrous. We find that also the Bible tells women that the reason they have childbearing, the reason they give birth to a child, is because it is a curse that God cursed upon Eve, because Eve tempted Adam. This is completely incorrect. The Quran clarifies that the fault of Adam taking from the tree is not Eve's fault. It's not the fault of his wife, but rather he takes responsibility for his fault. We cannot say the woman tempted the man. the Quran tells us, وَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. The mistake was that of Adam's. We cannot blame women for the mistakes of men, as the Bible unfortunately portrays, because remember, the Bible came to us through a series of changes, and these changes were made by men. And so men manipulated the Bible to suit the agenda, which is to make men look superior to women in a manner that makes women look really, really bad and unfortunate. This is quite unfortunate. But the Quran, we thank Allah for revealing the Quran, which actually promulgates the rights and the status of women to such an extent that it is reported in the hadith that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was asked by a companion, which person in the world is most entitled to my honor? And he said, your mother. And he was asked again, then who? He said, your mother. He was asked again, and then who, O Prophet of God? And he said, your mother, the third time. And the person didn't tire, he didn't get bored, but he asked again the fourth time, then who? And the Prophet said, and then your father. So we find the amazing status God gave women because of giving birth to children. It is not a curse, but rather it is a high status that the Quran and that Islam gives to women. And the Quran beautifully tells us, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ إِحْسَانًا. God has enjoined upon the human being to be kind to his parents. And then the Quran tells us, حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ. Does he not think how his mother carried him? His mother carried him in her womb with pain upon pain. وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامِينَ. And not only that, after giving birth to him, she weaned him, she breastfed him for a period of about 2 years. Anishkur li wa liwalidik. Be sure to be grateful to me and your parents. Allah reminds us of the status of our mothers, something we should not take for granted, and certainly should not accept the teaching that pregnancy is a curse upon woman, as is unfortunately taught in a book that was manipulated by men. May Allah enable us to understand the status of women in society, to respect all women, and to stand for the rights of women who are being abused in society. And may Allah bring those perpetrators of the rights of women to justice and punish them in a manner that they deserve. Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings.